At the end of 2021, I wanted to dive into the whole wireless scene and switch all my peripherals to something completely wireless. So I bought this Logitech mouse, the G, which I'll bring up in a future video. But today, we're not here to talk about that mouse. We're here to discuss this keyboard right here, which is the one I personally have. I bought it, as I mentioned, at that time. I don't know why it's not showing up on the list, but I have it here, and I'll show it to you better in a bit because I have the NVIDIA broadcast effect that removes the background. And right now it's giving me an error. But basically, I bought this keyboard back then for about $970,000 Colombian pesos, and the advantage is that mine is the full version, which also has the calculator section that I love. There are other versions that are like, I think 70% or 60%, which are more compact, but I really love this one, and I'll tell you why. We're going to talk about all of this after almost a year and a half, or even a bit more, of use to see what you think about it. If you like it, I'll also bring you the video about the mouse and how it is to live with a 100% wireless experience, all about latency and everything. So with that said, let's get started. Well, here it is. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. This is the keyboard. I don't know why I went a bit crazy, to be honest, wanting to switch everything to wireless. Maybe because there are times when I eat or have dinner, whatever you call it, at the same desk where I have the keyboard. So what happens is that with all the cables, it was super annoying to put something here or sometimes have to take notes in a notebook. And with cables, it looks really messy and tedious. Now, I'm not going to mainly talk about that in this video, but rather about how my experience has been after all this time since I bought this keyboard at the beginning of 2022, at the end of 2021, and setting up this wireless ecosystem, so to speak, because right now almost all my products are wireless, except for the headphones, as you can see here. But I do that more for convenience. So basically, once that's said, let's analyze this Logitech G to see if it's really worth its price because maybe many will say, wow, how are you going to buy a keyboard for that price? Now each of you can figure out what that conversion is if you're in Mexico or some other country. But for here in Colombia, it's quite a high cost, and not many people are willing to take that on. But basically, before diving into all the experiences I've had with this keyboard, I want to first talk about some of the features of the Logitech G915. This is a high-end wireless keyboard, which is exactly why it has that price tag, and it's specifically designed for gaming. Even though I do use it for gaming, like Valorant, and sometimes I play GTA 5, where latency isn't as critical. That's what I want to talk to you about. This keyboard has a technology called Lightspeed, which is from Logitech, and it's designed to eliminate latency and provide a response time that's practically the same as a wired keyboard. This is a concern that a lot of people have when buying this keyboard, especially if they play competitively in some games or just don't want to deal with the issues that some keyboards have, like when you're walking, you press W, and your character doesn't move, or sometimes the character even goes backward instead of forward. That's when those problems start. But that's exactly why this keyboard is high-end. It doesn't have that issue thanks to the patented Lightspeed technology from Logitech. I've honestly never noticed latency when playing, like I said, in Valorant or other types of games where latency matters. Even with my wireless mouse, which aligns well with the keyboard, it also has a wired connection option through a micro USB port that uses Lightspeed technology to minimize latency even when connected. This is really for people who are extremely demanding when it comes to latency. This cable is included in the box, along with the keyboard, so you can use it that way if you want, or you can go wireless with the adapter that comes with it. Another standout feature of this keyboard is its incredible battery life because it literally lasts a long time. Logitech included a long-lasting battery that, in my experience, can last up to 2 months. 2 months, listen to me, on a single charge. The actual duration obviously depends on usage and the lighting settings we choose, but overall, the battery life is. It's incredibly impressive for a keyboard of this style. You can try it out. I usually keep the lighting on because when I'm typing, I have all the lights off, so if I don't have the lighting on, I literally can't see the keyboard. But there are times when I don't use it, or I just limit it because you can lower the brightness on this keyboard, and based on that, the battery will last longer. This isn't a problem at all because I can connect it with the same cable it comes with, use it while it charges, and once it's fully charged, I just disconnect it and go back to using it wirelessly. What I do here at my desk is keep the cables super close. Once it runs out of battery, I plug it in, use it while it charges, which charges pretty quickly, and once it's charged, I leave it there completely good. As for the design, this Logitech keyboard has a really sleek and modern look, and that's why, even though I'm not a hardcore gamer who plays video games all the time, sure, I play, but I'm not super into it. I liked it because it has that elegant design. I appreciate that they didn't just make it look like a typical gamer keyboard. It also has an elegant design, comes in different color options, and features this slim and compact design. The keyboard is really thin, which makes it ideal for those looking to save space on their desk. However, there's a caveat. While it saves space width-wise, the length depends on which keyboard you buy. I have the version that comes with a numpad, and that keyboard is huge. It takes up almost my entire desk. Logitech's keyboard uses GL mechanical switches in linear, tactile, and clicky types. I prefer the tactile for its feel and sound. It's durable despite rough use. The switches are satisfying and not too loud. Its low-profile design is comfortable for long use. Some versions have a wrist rest, which I miss. Logitech's Lightspeed tech ensures no gaming latency, and switching between wireless and wired is convenient. In my personal experience, from the very first day I had this keyboard, I honestly fell in love with it. I had previously owned other Logitech wired keyboards, and while they were pretty good, this one completely overshadowed any other preferences I had for keyboards. That's why I've had it for so long, and it hasn't broken at all. The keys are still intact. I've even mistreated it a bit at times, and it's still in great shape. The feel of these switches is really nice because they offer a tactile response and a super satisfying sound for mechanical keyboard lovers. I don't think it's a sound that's too deafening, you know? It's not annoying to the point where you're typing at midnight and your whole family can hear you. No, it's a keyboard that has a sound that's more satisfying than anything else. It's entertaining and fun to hear someone typing on this keyboard, if I may say so. Plus, the low-profile design of the keyboard makes it more comfortable for long gaming and typing sessions. Speaking of comfort, the G series, depending on which version you buy, will come with a removable wrist rest that you can attach to the keyboard or take off at any time, and this helps a lot. I missed that because my version doesn't come with this keyboard extension, which is basically a base where you can rest your wrist while typing, so it doesn't hurt. In my case, it didn't come with that extra accessory, so I had to use it without it, and honestly, that's the only thing I feel is missing from this keyboard. It's a bit unfortunate because I came from an older keyboard, which I think was the G or G something. It's a lower generation keyboard that's actually a bit bigger and wider, and that one already had a built-in base, not a wrist pad, but a plastic base that couldn't be removed. You probably know which keyboard I'm talking about, and that one was super comfortable to use. But with this new one, the wrist situation is a bit tedious. So each of you should think about whether you want to buy that accessory separately or if the version you get comes with it included. In my case, it didn't come with it. Now, as I mentioned before, Logitech's Lightspeed technology really works. I haven't noticed any latency at all while playing any type of video game, even in some fast-paced games that require quick and precise movements. The ability to switch quickly between wireless and wired connections is a feature that is very convenient and has personally allowed me to do a lot. You can use different settings and devices without any issues, so don't worry about gaming. As for durability, the G has held up well over time. The build materials feel super sturdy and solid. The keyboard has survived my lifestyle and gaming style, where sometimes I can really beat up the keyboard, typing pretty hard, even tossing it to the side, and it hasn't shown any signs of tearing or damage at all. Although now that I think about it, I did have a small issue when I wanted to clean the keyboard. I removed the key, and there's this little wire that holds it in place, and it broke like a little leg. But that was because I was too rough with it. Even so, I just glued it back on super carefully, and it kept working great. Apart from that, it doesn't show any signs of wear or any ghosting like some other keyboards from Logitech, where functions that you have never enabled start to activate from one moment to the next. However, like any keyboard, this Logitech G915 is not perfect. One issue I've found is the wireless connection range. If the keyboard is far from the tower, you might experience drops or disconnections. I had to place the receiver close to the keyboard to avoid this. However, it comes with a cable you can position anywhere to prevent these issues. I've also noticed wear on keycaps, especially W, A, S, D, and the spacebar. The numbers on the keys haven't worn since they're translucent and allow RGB light through. The wear is negligible, but the spacebar dips have pressed on the right, affecting use. I've noticed some wear on the keycaps. The numbers on the keys remain clear. The spacebar dips slightly, affecting usability. I'm satisfied with this G. It's a high-quality wireless keyboard with excellent responsiveness, impressive battery life, and GL switches that are great for typing and gaming. Let's say that. When you look at the keys, neither the numbers nor the letters look blurry or anything like that. What you do notice, a bit of wear isn't so much physical, which is why I said earlier that the wear is practically negligible. But when you feel the key, for example, on the spacebar, if you press a bit to the right, it kind of dips down and doesn't let you use it properly. But I've had it for quite a while, and honestly, I'm not the most careful user. This Logitech G keyboard is responsive, with good battery life and GL switches. It's excellent for writing. Despite minor issues like range and keycap wear, it's a solid investment. Cheaper options won't perform as well. Wired version available if latency is a concern. Affiliate link in description for Amazon. The sleek and compact design is an additional huge plus that I really like. Despite some minor issues like the wireless connection range and the wear on the keycaps I use the most, I believe this Logitech G is an excellent investment for anyone looking for a high-performance wireless keyboard. Keep that in mind, because you might find another keyboard that's cheaper, but it won't perform as well as this one. It's not high-end like this one. It can handle gaming sessions and even work just as well. This keyboard also has a wired version, so you can try that if you're worried about latency. But honestly, I don't think it has any issues at all, and for me, this keyboard has completely exceeded my expectations. I personally consider it one of the best keyboards I've had so far. And if you really want to buy this keyboard, in the description I leave you the affiliate link if you want to buy it from Amazon so you can buy it there directly. I'm going to try to pick a link that ships worldwide, not just to the US. And you can buy it directly from wherever you are, and it might even be cheaper than in your home country because sometimes things on Amazon are cheaper. So with that said, I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.